Can afford 6 grand.
It's gonna be all right. Yeah.
Right.
Come here.
Nothing.
So a lot of people come to us, all right? And typically what's happening is people will contact our agency for a couple of reasons. Most of the clients we take on, they're very successful companies, multi-seven-figure companies, and they got a couple of things going on. Number one is they're spending a lot of money on advertising, and what was working has stopped working, all right? And usually these are the folks that are like driving people to an opt-in form or driving people straight to go buy something or a webinar registration form or whatever. And then there's another category of people that are doing great, they're spending a lot of money on ads, and they hit a plateau. And that's when like they'll, let's say they're spending $5,000 a day or whatever, it's great, it's profitable. And then when they try to scale it to say $6,000, $10,000, $15,000 a day or whatever, it breaks and it stops working. And invariably, it can come down to like this one situation. Actually, let me show you, hang on. So, all right, here's the deal, okay? Let's say you're running ads and you're targeting a marketplace. So this big square or rectangle, I guess, represents your marketplace, all right? So at any given point, let's just say anecdotally, 5% of people in that marketplace, these guys are ready to make a buying decision within the next 30 days. Like this is your hottest marketplace, all right? And then let's say you've got another 50%, and I know the segments don't match the percentages, but whatever, right? Let's say you've got another 50% of that marketplace that's going to be ready to make a buying decision in 90 days or so. And then you've got another 45% right here, and these people are going to be ready to make a buying decision in longer than 6 months, all right? So I'll just say greater than 6 months, 90 days, and then now. Most of the clients that come to us and they are dissatisfied with what's going on in their advertising, their focus is here. All right. So when you see ads all over the internet that's basically, hey, go become a lead for my thing, fill out your name and email address so I can email you 9,000 times, or go buy this thing right now, right? And that's what your competition's doing, and that's what everybody else is doing. And if you're running ads like that, and it's a hard situation to handle because it's expensive and you're constantly having trouble with it, the reason why is because you're focusing on this tiny little sliver of the market that every single person online is also trying to sell to, that's within your marketplace, right? But that's not where the money is. Ask yourself this, okay? Would you rather have, 10% of this market share or 10% here? Well, clearly you would rather have 10% of the bigger chunk of the market, right? The reward is much bigger. The pain is just in having to wait this 90 days. But here's the deal. If you make the decision to cultivate this segment of the market, when they get to this point, who are they going to be ready to do business with? You, because you've already built a bond and a relationship with them. So the question becomes, how do you do that in advertising? How do you really cultivate this part of your target market that's really going to pay off for you in about 90 days, right? And the answer is an approach that's called intent-based branding. Now, it's never branding for the sake of branding. I don't believe in that, like getting your name out there. Instead, what you want to do during this period is identify these people, call out to them in your content, and then bond with them by actually giving them something helpful. Okay, I'll give you an example. Actually, the timing for this could not possibly be better. So if you look over my shoulder, you'll see like in that office, someone's doing some HVAC work because our air conditioner blew up or something. And just recently, about a week ago, I was speaking at a conference to a lot of like bigger companies, and they were asking about, how do we make ads work and how do we bring in business? And one of the people there was an HVAC contractor. And these guys do HVAC work for like bigger companies, right? So they don't go to your house. So they deal with like on-site manufacturing facilities and stuff. And when their HVAC systems go out, now these guys are ready to, call somebody, right, to fix the problem. So the person I was doing Q&A in the audience, the guy was like, hey, I've got this kind of unique situation. I fix big industrial HVAC units. How do I use this type of intent-based branding approach to talk to my marketplace? And the answer is easy. It doesn't matter what business you're in, right? You need to ask yourself, what will happen in my marketplace within like that 50% of people who might be ready to buy in the next 90 days or so? What could happen in their lives that would predicate a buying decision? That would, in other words, what could happen to them that would trigger their desire to call somebody to sell them the thing that you sell? So let's go back to the HVAC guys, right? So in their situation, I'm asking them that question. I say, okay, well, that is kind of an obscure market, right? So what would happen in a big manufacturing facility that would ultimately lead someone to be like, man, I got to call an HVAC person? And the answer was, it typically starts with a little leak. So they'll notice a leak in a tile in the ceiling, and then it'll drip into, the floor, and then someone will come in there and they'll realize, oh my gosh, it's not the roof, it's the dang HVAC thing, it's, the condenser or whatever is messed up. So what I advise that person to do is to create content that goes out to everybody that's in the manufacturing building world that says, hey, what could be causing that leak in your ceiling? And then his content is essentially, if you're in a manufacturing facility and you have these little weird leaks in your tiles, here are 3 things that could be causing it. One of those things might be your HVAC thing. Are we trying to sell the HVAC services? No. What we're doing is we've identified that 50% of people who might need to make that decision in the next 90 days or so, and then we're putting useful content in front of them delivered by the very people that they're going to need to call when it's time to make that buying decision. This type of strategy works for any business. It doesn't matter. The trick is having the foresight to understand that the real money is not in trying to sell to that 5% of your marketplace right now, right? That's not where it is. Everybody else is doing that. That's why your ads are giving you trouble. That's why it's so competitive. The real money is in cultivating the relationship with that 50% of your marketplace that's going to be ready to make a buying decision in the next 90 days or so, getting in front of them now, actually building that bonding relationship with them, and then being the person that they call when it's time to do business. So if you're spending money on ads and you want your ads to perform better, take all of this into consideration and start asking yourself, what could be going on in their lives that might precipitate their need for what I have to sell? And when you identify that, create content around it, put it in front of that 50% segment, and watch the sales roll in. Hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I like making it for you. If you know anybody who might find it helpful, please feel free to share. Take it easy.